Hello, and this is Andover Political Review. Let's get started. How has Andover High School been affected by the increasing role of technology in schools as a general trend? And do you think that more technology benefits student learning?
It's a good question. It depends on how it's used. We view technology as a tool, so it's like we consider it like a pencil. So,
Okay.
If you're using a pencil for it, it's not really about the device itself. It's about how you can engage the students' learning.
Okay.
So I think in a lot of ways, in the 21st century, I saw that you had a phone on you. Most kids have a phone. Most kids are using technology to engage with each other.
Right.
So why not bring it into the classroom?
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's important to engage students in a different way, and since they're so tech savvy, taking advantage of that and using it as a tool in the right way in the classroom is a great thing, but it won't replace the content, of the
Okay.
class.
Some might say that it would be more effective to, just do a lesson normally. Do you think that the technology can ever be a barrier between, like putting technology in schools can ever be a barrier between the student and the actual message that you want the student to receive?
I think it gets back to how you use it.
Okay.
So I'm not saying that every lesson technology should be introduced into. Teachers, should see how it fits into the curriculum. But I think that it can further students' understanding and go deeper into the content, because information is available on the internet to everybody, and it's how you use that information. So putting the device in the student's hand, getting them to do more personalized and authentic learning, I think can deeper. And I think you'll find, and we have seen, where kids learn beyond that content because they push themselves.
Okay. Let's talk some more about putting devices into kids' hands. Can you talk about the BYOD learning initiative, the Bring Your Own Device initiative, a little bit?
Yep. So currently we have the BYOD in the middle schools. So at Woodhill has it in 7th and 8th grade. They're in their second year of it. And then in all 8th graders across the district are able to bring their personal devices to school. And then we have 9th grade ELA and social studies. So the purpose of that is because we currently have carts that are exhausted, where teachers are trying to get to the carts, trying to use them in their class. And the issue is that they can't always have them tomorrow, and they may wait weeks to use it, or a device is down or whatever. So by allowing students to bring devices in, we're actually putting the labs into the classrooms, and we're allowing students to learn. Some kids are very visual learners. Some kids like to take notes on their laptops, so it gives them that opportunity to have their own personal device in the classroom.
So it's not a school-funded effort, it's more of kids can bring in their own device?
So there's multiple options. So a kid that has a device at home, we actually have been looking at this. I've been here for 4 years. I'm in my 4th year. So they were looking at doing this prior to my coming here, and then when I got here, we surveyed families, and we pretty much heard from families that a lot of kids already have devices and they don't want to purchase a device or lease a device. So we went through multiple options. So families came back and said, if I have a device at home, I'd be happy to send the device to school. So there's 4 options. You can either apply for a waiver if you financially can't afford one, and the school will provide a device to you. You can opt out completely, and that's what that means is you just don't bring a device to school, but the school will provide a device that's shared, because we can't put a device. If I could buy a device for every student and put it in their hands, we would put a device in every student's hand.
On the iAndover website, it says that to increase one of the goals of the initiative is to increase student engagement and productivity through personalized learning and equal access to technology for all. Are you really giving technology for everyone if it's just like a mandate rather than the school is providing?
It's not a mandate.
It's not a mandate?
Nope, it's not a mandate.
So you don't have to bring in your device, you can opt out?
You don't have to bring a device if you opt out.
How many people are you finding are opting out?
Less than 1%.
Less than 1%.
So we had about 21 when we started, and we're down to
In the high
Oh
school,
my gosh.
6.
In the high school, we only have 6.
And how
And
many
that's probably
people-
our largest population.
How many people are on waivers? Do you know?
Waivers, actually, surprisingly, we thought it would be about 8% of the population would be on a waiver. And we got enough devices for 8%, and only about 10% of them picked it up because of the options that they have. A lot of kids had Chromebooks to bring in, so they brought their own Chromebooks.
So 10% are on waivers.
Yeah, about 10%.
So do you think, what kind of computers would the school provide you with if you couldn't afford one? If you're
Right
on
now, it's a
waiver?
Chromebook.
A Chromebook?
Yep.
My question is, do you think that this could sort of exacerbate class tensions in the school in any way? Do you think that being on a waiver is obvious per se, and so all of a sudden there's you have a label that you can't afford a computer? Do you ever worry about that?
A lot of the kids have ordered, so basically the device that we're providing on a waiver, parents can buy too. So we have a lot of parents that went onto our premium website and purchased the exact same device. Every kid a sticker was put on the computer, and that was so that everybody knew that they had a device. Will we move forward with that sticker? I don't know. We have to, unfortunately, mark the computer that the kid has for a waiver. We have some kids that are on waivers only because there's 4 to 5 kids in their house.
Right.
So to help them out, it's like we give them a device. We have situations where a parent was sick, so they get a device. We haven't heard any. I mean, we try to make sure that it's discreet.
Okay.
Kids don't know.
Okay.
And a lot of times what happens is, a kid might borrow one for the day too. So a lot of teachers are borrowing them for their classes, or a student will come in and borrow one. And so, those students aren't in the opt-out program anyway. So really, I don't think it would be an issue,
Yeah.
or it hasn't been yet.
Okay. So the quote that I just read, the goals of the one-to-one initiative are to increase student engagement and productivity through personalized learning. Can you just expand upon how technology increases personalization in the classroom and in terms of learning?
Yeah. So basically at the middle school, what they've done is they've created almost like these playlists. So what you can do is they have a baseline of what students need to work on. So every student has to complete that baseline. But then there's harder steps. So a student that wants to deepen can go on. So that's how you personalize it, is you allow kids to take their own pathways. It also allows you to differentiate the instruction without students knowing that we're just differentiating the instruction. So if one kid is accessing the curriculum at a lower level than another student, we can go in there and provide it. They're still getting the same content, they're just getting it at a level of their understanding. So that's where we're talking about that personalized. And we've really seen a huge growth in the middle school, especially in the 7th and 8th grade level, where kids can access the curriculum and get to the same point where every other student is.
A growth in
And just academically, yeah.
academically?
Yeah.
Okay. So peppered throughout the iAndover website is the phrase like 21st century learning. In fact, the entire digital learning initiative or the program in Andover Public Schools seems to be centered around this idea. Can you just expand upon what that means, 21st century learning, what that means to you?
I don't even think we should talk about 21st century learning anymore because we're in the 21st century. So really it's just about access anytime, anywhere. Access, because as we know, kids have devices. They can get information. It's how do they synthesize that information that they get? How do they, be able to take their own pathways and look and authentically learn? I look at 21st century learning as really project-based. How do I take information and really get passionate about it? I mean, I know like we work on the help desk, and we have a 20% project that we have the kids work on. So something that they're passionate about, that they can really dig their teeth into and really expand on it. So that's how, I mean, I hate to say it, it's a buzzword. But it's really a buzzword. But really what it is it's about getting those 4 critical skills. Communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and I always get lost on the last one.
I have it here.
Creativity.
Creativity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Creativity.
So how will technology sort of help kids achieve those 4 C's? Like how is it any different from, how is it any better than the old way, 20th century learning, so to speak?
Well, I think it gives
21st
students. I think it gives students more options. So instead of just writing a paper, to present an idea, they can go down different avenues to choose from. So they could make a video or a presentation, or they could still write the paper, but they could write the paper with other classmates, and the other classmates don't have to even be in their class. So I think it gives them options outside of that traditional model to really reach all different types of learners.
I also think it helps them expand the classroom. It just brings down the walls of your classroom.
Yeah.
So if you are writing a paper, you can reach out to somebody that's actually done research on that, or collaborate with somebody that's outside of your classroom walls. You could blog. I mean, we were just actually talking today at lunch, which we didn't eat, but today at lunch, we were talking about 7th grade students. They had to do a project for vocabulary. And so the teacher decided to kind of step outside of her comfort zone, and she allowed the kids to do video. So kids came and approached it in multiple ways. But she said, so what they did is some kids did it as a silent movie, and they had to explain, and they were given the basis of the project, but how they attacked it was their own. They could do it on their own. She said it was the best test scores afterwards, because some kids were so entertaining with their vocabulary that every kid did well in the vocabulary test, because they created the films, they archived them, the kids all went and watched them. We had another group of students who interviewed kindergartners and wrote books for them, and now the books are available through our library catalog. So I think that's what it does. That's what it allows us to do.
On the website, the digital learning website, it says that educators are essential to digital learning. Technology may change the role of the teacher, but it will never eliminate the need for a teacher. But at AHS, I know you can take a full course online without an instructor and still get credit for that class. Is that not digital learning? And if it is the role of a teacher truly essential?
Well, there's always a teacher on that backside of that digital class. So you're taking the class, but you still have a teacher. You still have some teacher grading, doing, so if you've ever taken an online class, there's office hours, a teacher's checking in with you, the teacher's putting the content, the teacher is grading the content. There is interaction, because I've taught online high school classes as well as college classes.
Do you ever worry that you'll
No.
lose a human touch?
No, never. You will
Never?
Never.
Okay. So
I don't believe so. But
the CEO of Google said recently that in 10 or 20 years, all white-collar jobs will be able to be replaced by essentially robots and computers. The stuff that they're working on Google is so advanced that there's going to be no need for white-collar jobs, including programming itself. How do you approach that in the context of digital learning? Do you ever, if technology is increasing at a pace where you don't really need to understand it to use it, you don't need to know how to program to use where does digital learning fit in with all that? How does it?
well, first of all, there's always going to be a person behind that programming. I don't care what
Well-
they say. A computer can program it, but somebody also has to make that computer to program it. So where does it come in for digital learning? I don't.
Do you ever worry that it's pointless because in 20 years it's just going to be so advanced that the stuff you learned in high school isn't going to apply in terms of digital learning?
I think that it's just important to
just-
build the
yeah,
skills,
yeah.
right now, because getting out into the workforce, you do have to have those skills for technology. It's different to get into the real world. You have to have a certain skill set. So for right now, I think it's really important. And as far as, 20 years from now, not everyone's going to want to, go that avenue. So I think,
I do think technology is going to grow, but I don't think they're still going to you're still going to have skills. I'm thinking, and maybe I'm wrong in interpreting what you're saying, is that, the jobs that are going to be available 20 years from now, we don't even know what they are. We don't know what they are.
Right.
And, you know, is technology going to take over that?
Well, we don't even know if there's going to be jobs.
We don't know even, yeah, I know. Well, I would say,
So
I would
that's
certainly
a scary
hope.
thought.
It is scary, but I think technology is, it's exciting because of the possibilities. I mean, I think about just my lifetime. I'm not that old. And I like to think I'm not that old. But just where technology has come just in the short span of my life. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, we think about the remotes. We were the remotes when we were
Right.
kids. It was walking by the TV, changing the channel.
So you
Now
don't
you-
ever think it's going to become too advanced to the point where
I don't know.
humans have nothing to do and there's
No,
cause trouble.
no, I certainly hope not.
Okay, let's get back to the iAndover website. So
It's okay.
scrolling around the website, there's several pages dedicated to promoting educational apps created by companies such as Google and Apple. I saw, I think it was an iTunes thing on there. So does Andover Public Schools favor one company over the other in their digital learning?
No, I don't think we
No.
do at all. I mean, we're a Google Apps for Education district, but that's only because Microsoft is just starting to catch up with the Office 365, and we will at some point introduce that into our, we do have Apple laptops. I mean, we do, but we have Chromebooks, we have PCs, we have Lenovo, we have, so I don't think we favor one over the other. You know, it's kind of a preference. I mean, Macs, I can tell you I was a Microsoft programmer for years, so Mac was
Okay.
never something I wanted to touch.
Yeah.
I would not want to touch it. But I got into education and came in through special ed, and just what an Apple computer can do to leverage the playing field, level it for those special ed students is incredible, where Microsoft hadn't got up to there. So now they're,
What can it do
they're catching up.
differently?
So they had back, I mean, we're talking 15 years ago, there was word prediction that was built straight in. So a lot of times for for a Microsoft product, you would have to actually say, all right, I have to go out and buy that application, where it was built into your Apple. Now they're starting to catch up. You're getting your word predictions on each side. So I think technology, they're starting to meet each other. Microsoft is still behind when it comes to Google Apps for Education. They're just not, with that sharing and that collaboration piece is not there yet. But I certainly, I don't favor
So
one
you
over the
mentioned
other.
the education potential of Apple computers. And as we know, Apple computers are manufactured in Foxconn in China, which is a company that runs a factory, or multiple factories. And they employ children at these factories. Like, do you ever worry that, is it fair that to promote our education and to help us get an education, we have to exploit another country's children?
Oh, absolutely not.
You don't.
No,
You don't
I
think so? So,
We should be exploiting any children anywhere.
well, but we are though, and Andover High School is a part of that because
Yeah.
we buy their computers. So do you ever think about that at all?
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah. I don't think we think of that. Yeah. You know, it was when I had come, they were moving towards, you know, they had PCs, and they were
Well,
looking
I'm
at
sure
Macs.
PCs are
Yeah.
just as
I
bad.
was going to say, I'm
Yeah.
sure they're
Yeah.
just as bad. So, yeah, no, I mean, I don't think people really think about them.
Yeah, it's too bad.
So you enlightened us.
It's too bad. That's it. Thank you.
Thanks. No, thank you. It's nice. Thank you.